Well guys, welcome to another lockdown episode or video from Overdrive. Common theme that all three of us are going to be doing this time around, we're going to be doing our car histories. This should be quite interesting because we know what some of us what they've had, but I think there are probably some cars we're not aware of that each other's owned. So here we go, mine's quite a list, so hope you're sitting comfortably and I shall begin. Number one, starts off with my first car before I'd even passed my test. Actually, 15 years ago, I had this a 600 quid 93 Vauxhall Astra Merit Mark III, of course. This was the 60 horsepower high torque 1.4 version. Not quite where they got that from, I'm not sure. And of course, the Merit was the poverty spec model, so it had zero equipment. Had 98,000 miles on when I bought it, so you can imagine what state that was in. But as an ideal, well, the first car would be ideal. Have your knocks and scrapes and bangs and things like that, it didn't matter. So as a first car, it was probably a perfect choice, really. But yeah, that was car number one. Moving on to car number two, Malcolm's favourite car. Yeah, like this. Not Mark IV Vauxhall Astra 1.6. This was the 8-valve version, so pretty hopeless, really, woefully underpowered, but probably a good thing when you're 18. But yes, Mark IV Astra LS. Alright car, quite well built. Not really much anything else to say about it, really. Car number three, a car that regular viewers will have seen on Overdrive featured already. It was my 2002 Vauxhall Corsa 1 litre, which was now owned by my brother and has been for about the last probably 7 or 8 years now. It was slightly modified, shall we say, by myself, and he's done a couple of things himself to it as well. So please check that video out. That was, what episode it was now, it might have been 16. FOR the Corsa, I think was the episode title. So please check that out. So that was car number three. Really like that car actually, and I suppose hence why I've got a Corsa C at the moment. Car number four, one of only 2 cars I ever had that were brand new. When I was 19 I had this, and I really thought I made it, to be honest. Might not like this being a Ford man. It was my first dabble into Fords. It was a 2007 07 plate Ford Fiesta Z-Tech S in grey. Fun fact for you, on the Mark 6, the grey colour, I can't remember what it was called, I think it was sea grey, something that was called sea grey, was exclusive to the Z-Tech S. It was the only one in the range you could get that on, unless you lived in Australia or New Zealand, where you get it on their version of the ST, which I think was called the XR4. But over here, it was an exclusive colour to the Z-Tech S only. Really nice car, had ST seats in it, their style seats, half leather, just without obviously the badging. Really looked the part, did a couple of light modifications to it, tasteful mods, nothing drastic, and it really, really looked the part. Love that car. Then I went a bit mad and traded that in for car number 5. Quite know what I was thinking when I did this, really. It was a bit silly, but I traded it in for a Mark IV Ford Mondeo 2.5 turbo Titanium X. I was 21 years old. Yep. Great car. Went like a train. Had loads of equipment, very comfortable. All the gadgets you can think of. Had a rather primitive voice controlled Bluetooth system, which didn't work very well, but it was, I think, Ford's first attempt at that kind of thing back in 2007. And yeah, it was a nice car, really liked it, but the fuel consumption was truly horrific. Got myself into a lot of debt with that car. Not so much buying it, but more running it. I said the insurance, the fuel, the road tax. It was just it was just not sustainable. So fun, but yeah, it was a bit of a mistake having that. I certainly should have stuck with the Fiesta, although I did like the car. I had that for 9 months, and you can see it was a bit of a mistake buying that when I traded in for the next car number 6, and I was brought down to earth a bit with that one. So, yeah, car number 6. I've got my cheat sheet here, guys. You can see why I've got a cheat sheet with the amount of cars on this list. My first of 3 of these that I had, and it's been mentioned before, Mark 1 Ford KA. Now, I know you guys, some guys out there might think, what on earth? Why do you get one of those? I tell you what, guys, and girls, if there's any watching, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely love that car. You might think going from a top of the range Mondeo to the most basic car in the Ford lineup was a shock to the system, and it was. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. A couple, again, very tasteful modifications to it, nothing silly, very subtle. I went all over the country in that car. I did thousands of miles in that car, and I absolutely loved every one of them. It was so much fun. It was so nippy. I just absolutely loved it, and the family stuff as well. The family reasons, that car was very, very sentimental to me. And I'd love to have it again one day. I don't really know if it's going. DS06EEA, the reg. If he's still out there, I'd love to have it back. But yeah, I love the KAs, and like I say, I actually ended up having 3 of them in the end, the Mark 1 KAs. Never got on with the second generation, didn't appeal at all, but the first one I loved it. It did have its problems, of course, as we know, rust being the main issue, but nevertheless, absolutely love that car, and if I could find it, I'd buy it back like a shot. Number 7, yeah, I went a bit mad again here. There's a theme emerging to and fro, as you can see. The car I had next, I had for the longest I've ever owned a car, actually. 3 years I had this. And I should point out this list, guys, it's not a case of the next car replaced the previous car or such like that. So a lot of the cars on this list I had while I owned the other ones, so I've owned usually about 2 cars at any one time throughout the last 15 years. Brief period I had 3, but mostly it's been 1, usually 2 cars over the last. So it's not a case of replace one, got the other, replace one, got the other. Some of them I've owned together. Yeah, number 7, 2005 Renault Clio 182 Sport. This particular car was what's known in Renault circles, and if any of you are in that, you know what I mean. It was known as a full fat. They call it full fat 182. There's a number of option packages that you could have on the car. There was a spoiler pack, and there was a spoiler cutback, and there was a suspension cutback. Some cars had none, some cars had one or the other, some had both, and this one had both of them. So it had slightly lower suspension, smoked wheels, 10mm I think wider track at the front, and the rear spoiler was off a Clio V6 version. But loved the car. It was in, I think, called it black and gold, so it was black with a sort of a gold sparkle in it. Absolutely loved it. That car on the right road. Tell you what, it was something else. It was the best driving car I've ever had, but it's not my favourite, and we'll come to that later. Number 8, check right here. Yes, number 8. While I had the Clio, I decided to get a runabout car for sort of winter and that type of thing, although I only ended up having this for a couple of months. And it was a 96 Mark IV Ford Fiesta SI with the 1.25 engine, as we know, fantastic engine. I did like the car. Very much, but I was doing a lot of miles at the time, and I decided to trade it in for something similar but a lot younger, and that's what I did next. So car number 9, like I said, similar to the Fiesta. It was a 2008 Ford KA Studio, so that was the it was the last of the Mark 1 KAs, basically. It was the base model. Yeah, I just wanted something similar to the Fiesta, but a lot younger. It was only a couple of years old at the time when I bought that. Base model, like I said, all the KAs I've had have just been sort of base models. In fact, I think this was pretty much the last new car you could buy that still had a tape player. It was pretty basic, but I did like it, as I've loved all the KAs. They go so well, they handle well, fun little cars, and dirt cheap to run. So that was number 9. Number 10, interesting one. I didn't have this car for that long, I don't think. I think it was about 6-7 months, something like that. I think I ended up having it maybe a bit longer. Skoda Fabia. It was a Mark 1, 2002 Skoda Fabia. This was called a Black Line. This was a special edition. I think they had a couple of bits and pieces on it. It was a black and base car, but I think they put a couple of things on it. I think it had an electric sunroof or something, and alloy wheels and that type of thing. Just something that obviously manufacturers do from time to time to spruce up the cars, to put a special edition out, and this was one of them. Did like the car, actually. It was the first sort of, what I'd say, old car I had that didn't feel like an old car to drive. It felt just like a modern car. And it's the first time. So the old cars I've had before, they've kind of felt like old cars, but this didn't. And I did like it, although it did have some engine issues. I think it kept overheating, had some head gasket issues. It had been done in the past, but I don't think it'd been done properly. And we ended up selling it to a family member and that. But I think they moved it on to someone who actually sorted the issue out. It was a nice car to drive though. Did put me off having another one there, I think, definitely. Number 11. Another cheap one I bought, I think, to replace that, was another Mark 4 Fiesta. Again, another car I only had for a couple of months. I think it cost about £900, £950, something like that. Might have been less. I think it was less than that. Again, a couple of months, within about a month and a half, it started to have engine issues, this car. I took it to a garage, not naming names, and it ended up basically coming back with more issues than it went in with, which was enough to start with. I just couldn't rely on the car. I needed it for work and I just couldn't rely on it. And I could have probably tried to get it sorted out, get the engine issues sorted, but by the time I'd spent the money getting them sorted, it just wasn't worth it. I just got another car, and I just couldn't be bothered at the time. There's no time, and that's exactly what I did. Again, this car didn't actually replace the Fiesta, but number 12 was this is just an order that I bought them. Number 12 was the second of the two brand new cars I had. Was a Toyota Aygo Fire, I think it was called, in that burnt orange colour they did. 2013 this was. This actually replaced the Clio. I'd had the Clio 3 years by that point. Been alright up until very close to that point, and it started having electrical issues. As common with French cars, mechanically it was alright, but the electrics were playing up something chronic. And I'd moved to the area where I live now very recently. Before that, didn't really know any sort of local mechanics, that type of thing, so I ended up just going to the Renault dealer, getting a quote for the repairs, and the bill was just eye-watering, to the point where when the lady at the counter gave me the quote for the repairs, I turned around and says, "You know what I'm going to say, don't you?" And she's like, "Yep." So what I did was, funny story, right next door to the Renault dealership was the Toyota dealership. So I walked out of the service department, over the road to the Toyota dealership, and the Clio was still parked at the Renault dealership. And about an hour later, walked out of there having ordered a new Toyota Aygo. That was how fed up I was with the Clio by that point. I just couldn't deal with it. It's quite funny, really, but yeah, that's how I ended up with the Aygo. Had that for a couple of years actually, and then moved on to the next car. and that car was car number 13. So yes, I had I go for a couple of years. I put 37,000 miles on it in 2 years, which is pretty good for one of them actually. I don't think many people do that. But yeah, the problem that I get was it mechanically, as any a new car, and especially Toyota, is absolutely fine. But people did have a tendency to keep crashing into it, which was getting highly annoying. It spent more time in the body shop than it did on the road at one point. But yes, anyway, moving on to car number 13, like I said, and this probably ties in with another car on the list, which I'll come to shortly, is my favourite car I've ever owned, and that was my 2014 8-month-old Vauxhall Corsa SRI in red with the panoramic roof, which I wanted one with them, and that took a bit of finding, but eventually I found one. Really enjoyable car. This was pre-children, before I had kids, so it didn't really do much too much about practicality of the 3-door. But no, really enjoyed that. I wanted something nippy and sporty, but not too expensive to run, that type of thing. And the Corsa fit the bill perfectly. Really enjoyed that car. Love the look of it. I think obviously got the Corsa bang on, the styling bang on with that SRI, like I said before with the videos. Not so much over the top sort of body kit wise, but just enough to make it stand out from the standard car. I think it's really good. Then children did come along. So I had to get something a bit more practical, and that car ended up being a 2013 Vauxhall Astra Elite, a blue one. We're now starting to get onto the cars that are featured on Overdrive's previous video, so please check that out. If you search an Overdrive for Vauxhall Astra Elite, you will see this on there. I did like the car. There were times when I thought it was really nice, but in some ways I just didn't really gel with it that well. It was very refined. It did have a few reliability gremlins, nothing drastic, but just niggles here and there. But I just kind of felt that it shouldn't have been there on a car of that age. When I bought it, it only had 15,000 miles on it, and I didn't really feel like it should have been there. But it was a nice car, very comfortable, very refined. Much more so than other cars that I've had. Very well built. But just, it's one of them cars I bought because I needed it, not because I wanted it, if you know what I mean. You car guys out there will know what I mean. The next car that I bought, and like I said, this list is all the order of cars that I bought, not the fact that one replaced the other. Mainly my other half that used this. We needed a cheap second car, and we bought my third and final Mark 1 Ford K8. This was a 2003, so although it was the last one that I had, it was actually the oldest K8 of the three. I think it's 750 quid, something like that we got this for. I had it for a couple of years, but it really wasn't proven very practical, as you could expect, with children and stuff like that. So yes, we eventually, after about 18 months or so, we had a couple of engine issues with it, problems with the heater and that type of thing that kept staying on, which is not ideal in the middle of summer when you've got no air conditioning either. So after about 18 months or so, we persevered with it for a while, but we had to go. My favourite car I ever owned, I think, probably tied with the Corsa. And that was my 2005 Rover 25 GSI, as featured on Overdrive. Please check that video out. It's been really popular, and it's certainly, again, the credit now it deserves. Didn't strictly speaking buy this car; it was given to me. So it was a free Rover, even better. Really love that car. I'm not going to bang on about it. Why? It's been mentioned in previous videos, so please check the videos out of the Rover 25 on Overdrive. Number 18. The Mark 5 Vauxhall Astra Club, the silver one that we had, again featured on Overdrive. Please check it out, especially on the Astra v Astra video where we did it compared against the Mark 6 Elite. That car we would probably still have now, actually. It was written off, unfortunately. After just spent a bit of money on it as well, typical, but yeah, it was written off. Really upset about that, because that car ran really well. Me and my partner both like that. Right, guys, so car number 19, again, another overdrive featured car, the 2009 Chevrolet Lacetti. Bit of a surprise this car was, as I mentioned before in videos. It wasn't that much to look at, but I actually really enjoyed driving the car, and that would be one I'd certainly still be owning now. Had it for a year. Had it not, well, it would have spectacularly failed its MOT had it been put in for one. The pre-inspection basically revealed that mechanically it was just a bit of a basket case, really, which I just didn't realise and wasn't expecting that at all. So unfortunately, I only had that car for a year, which was a lot less time than I was actually planning on having it for. Pretty disappointed with that. I could have put the money into getting it fixed, but it was more than the car was worth. It just wasn't worth it at all. Then very shortly after that, like I said, with the previous Astra being written off, we had to buy the 2010 Corsa D, which again is a overdrive featured car, to replace that. Perfectly good car, nothing wrong with it in particular. I say a bit dull, like I mentioned before, but nevertheless a good car, and it did what we needed to do. But because of the Lacetti not working, or would have failed its MOT, of course, because that had to go, I had to get a replacement car myself for work. And that was, of course, the 2006 Corsa C SXI Plus, which featured in Overdrive episode 24, the comparison with Martin's Fiesta ST line. Very similar cars, separated by quite a time span of, I think, about 14 years, I think it was. So that was a very interesting comparison, and a very interesting result, especially for the MPG video, which I think Martin is still reeling from. So please check that out, episode 24, and the individual videos as well on the ST line and the SXI Plus. That's, well, one of the current fleets. The second of the current fleet is the latest acquisition, which I got about just over a week ago now, where the 2010 Corsa D finally made way for the new family car, which I know I've put in the recent updates as to which Corsa it was going to go. It was that one in the end. And as regular viewers may have seen from the last quick update, I did go for the Astra Sports Tourer 2016, or 2017 actually, should I say. It's a 66 plate. It was a January 2017 registered car. 1.6 turbo petrol with a 200 horsepower engine, so it's quite a rare car as well. SRI in red, so generally a pretty unusual specification particularly for an Astra estate. Most of them are usually diesels, but we didn't want a diesel. Wanted a manual, and when I saw that, I thought, yeah, that's the one to have. It's car certainly a plan I'll keep for a long time. This one, I know I've not got a great track record of keeping cars for a long time, but this one is here to stay. There's no reason to sell this car. That's why I've got it in the States. It's something we can grow into as a family, with another new addition to the family. A couple of months ago we needed a family car. 2 Corsas just weren't going to cut it. I still got mine for running about to work, but we need a family car, so we went for the Astra Sports Tourer, which, if you're interested, I'm really, really thrilled with. It drives absolutely wonderful. It's got some real shove about it with that 1.6 turbo. All the space you need at the moment, all the technology. I'm still getting used to all the technology. I'm just not used to it. It's the first car I've had with sat-nav, a proper Bluetooth system, unlike the Mondeo. It's got Wi-Fi, you name it, it's got it, and absolutely loving it. So that is the very latest acquisition, which I believe, looking here, unless I've missed any. No, 21, yes, 22 cars, that is, in 15 years that I've been driving. In fact, it'll be 15 years in this September that I passed my test, I believe. Yes, 15 years in September I passed my test. Trying to do some maths there. It's getting a bit late now, the brain's not working. But basically, so 22 cars, 15 years. And as you can see, I've generally veered towards the Ford, but mainly Vauxhall manufacturers, with a few indiscretions here and there with the Skoda and the, and the Toyota, but generally speaking, they're the ones I'll go for. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a bit of a longer one from me. Hope you enjoy the ones Martin and Malcolm's putting out as well with their car history. It will be interesting for us all to see, and everyone else to see what our sort of car history is like and what we've been through, what cars we've had. But again, like I said, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you keep safe during this lockdown period. As I mentioned in the quick update, I'm now back at work, so it's sort of a partial lockdown for me now. But still trying to keep safe. Hope you are. Hope you're keeping your family safe as well. And look out for each other. We're through the worst of it, hopefully, but this thing's not over yet, so bear that in mind, guys. And please take it easy out on the roads as well. I want to just emphasise something that Martin touched on in one of his videos. With the roads being more empty, I have seen some more spirited driving, let's put it that way, from people out and about. And like Martin said himself in his video, if you think the police are going to ignore it because they're too busy worrying about a coronavirus, that is not going to happen, guys. Please bear it in mind. The NHS have got enough on the plates at the moment without worrying about looking after you getting involved in an accident. All right, I'm not ranting. Just want to emphasise what Martin said in his video. We've got to take care of ourselves during this time and our families. But nevertheless, hope you enjoy the video. As always, we do try to keep all about the cars. And please check the website out again, overdrive-online.co.uk. Malcolm, again, like I said last time, got some really good articles on there, digging around in the motor industry, seeing what's new developments are coming out, new cars and new stories as well from the industry. Again, like I said last time, he's updated the graphics on the website and on the YouTube channel as well, so I hope that's looking a lot nicer now. I certainly think it's looking a lot sharper. And please like, share, subscribe. It does help the YouTube algorithm and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to do our best to put as many videos out as we can, and to try and keep entertaining at the same time as well. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Keep an eye on the other guys' videos. Hope you enjoy this one. Check out the website and please subscribe.